Hello everyone, in this video I'll be translating and summarizing the latest Urdu broadcast by Shahbaz Gill to make it accessible for our English-speaking audience. Let's go through the key developments and insights in Shahbaz Gill's words. Let's start with the biggest story today. The group affiliated with the Field Marshal and the PML-N are locked in a fierce internal battle. It's a very interesting story, so listen carefully and you'll understand what's likely to unfold in Pakistan in the coming days. On one side, we have certain sycophantic journalists who are directly under the control of Chaudhry Nizamuddin. Essentially, they work directly for the Field Marshal and the DG ISPR. On the other hand, there are journalists, both overtly and covertly, aligned with the PML-N who work to support their interests. These two groups are now fighting each other. In reality, the puppet masters are behind the scenes, but it's the tout journalists who are publicly clashing. Let me share a couple of key developments, and then I'll leave it to you to draw your own conclusions about what's actually happening in Pakistan right now. The sugar export-import scandal. You may already know that about 750,000 metric tons of sugar were recently exported from Pakistan. This sugar export has involved a massive corruption scandal. Here's how the scam works. The wealthy industrialists, and as you know these are largely the mills owned by the Sharif family and similar elites, tell the government in December that they can't operate their sugar mills because they haven't yet sold their existing sugar stock. They claim that if their existing sugar isn't sold, they can't afford to crush fresh sugarcane. The government then asks them what they suggest. They respond, "Let us export the surplus sugar abroad." Now you might think, what's the issue here? Isn't exporting sugar a good thing? Actually, no. International sugar prices are typically lower than inflated domestic prices in Pakistan. The sugar mill owners claim they've paid farmers high prices for sugarcane, so their production costs are high and they can't sell sugar profitably abroad. Therefore, they demand the government pay them the price difference as a subsidy, which essentially means taxpayers foot the bill. So they get tens of billions of rupees as subsidy and export the sugar, or sometimes don't export it but pocket the subsidy anyway. This was the first fraud, and it was recently committed by the PML-N. Journalist Mohammed Malik reported that Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif was against exporting sugar, but Maryam Nawaz and Nawaz Sharif insisted on it. Ultimately, the sugar was exported and the subsidy money was pocketed. Now comes the bigger twist. Now there's news that the same group wants to import sugar again. You might have heard that Ishaq Dar approved the import of 500,000 metric tons of sugar. This decision triggered a huge backlash from the Field Marshal's group, a major development. Now people controlled by Mohsin Naqvi or the Field Marshal have started tweeting against the PML-N, attacking them. Some of these individuals have historically been close to the PML-N, like Suhail Warwick, Ansar Abbasi, and Fawad Hassan Fawad. Some have maintained their ties with the PML-N, while others have shifted loyalties to the generals. For instance, Fawad Hassan Fawad, once a close aide to Nawaz and Shahbaz Sharif, has now turned on them and tweeted criticism, seemingly under establishment instructions. He questioned why sugar was exported earlier and is now being imported, calling it a burden on the poor due to rising prices. More attacks on the PML-N. Others like Hassan Ayub, also known for being close to the establishment, echoed the same concerns. He too warned that importing sugar would lead to a major scandal. So clearly people in Chaudhry Nizamuddin's camp, possibly intelligence officers within ISI or army brigadiers and majors, are pushing media outlets to report against Maryam Nawaz, Nawaz Sharif and the PML-N government. Generals are telling TV channels to talk about the sugar corruption scandal. Interestingly, journalists working in Islamabad will tell you that publishing a report against the Field Marshal might be tolerated, but reporting against Maryam Nawaz could cost you your job, thanks to ISI or ISPR pressure. So Islamabad journalists are shocked that these people, like Fawad Hassan Fawad and Hassan Ayub, have been allowed to openly report against Maryam Nawaz, Nawaz Sharif and the PML-N, accusing them of massive corruption. Meanwhile, PML-N's own media camp is fighting back. Journalists aligned with the PML-N, particularly from the Mohsin Naqvi camp, are also pushing back. For instance, Suhail Warich criticised Ishaq Dar over sugar import, though he's spent a lifetime whitewashing such policies. Typically, someone like Suhail Warich would be defending these decisions as, great national service. Yet now even he is publicly criticising Dar, all because of influence from Mohsin Naqvi, who is backed by the Field Marshal. Meanwhile, Ansar Abbasi, still loyal to the PML-N, targeted Mohsin Naqvi in return. So pay attention. Suhail Warich attacked Ishaq Dar, Hassan Ayub attacked Mariam Nawaz, Nawaz Sharif and Shahbaz Sharif. Fawad Hassan Fawad also attacked Shahbaz Sharif. On the flip side, Ansar Abbasi attacked Mohsin Naqvi. This is infighting at the highest levels. It shows that the one-page unity between the PML-N and the military is, falling apart. The Field Marshal, once protective of Mariam Nawaz, has now turned against her. The PML-N is retaliating by attacking the Field Marshal's camp through its own loyal journalists. This situation is unprecedented. Journalists once threatened by ISI for even mentioning Mariam Nawaz are now being encouraged to publish reports against her. That signals a serious rupture. It seems the Field Marshal is now throwing his own people under the bus, as the old saying goes, like a monkey crushing its own baby underfoot. Can the PML-N survive this assault? And how long will the generals hold out? Time will tell. Second news story, visible splits within PML-N itself. Now to the next story, again from the PML-N. The party is clearly split into two factions, Shahbaz Sharif's group and Mariam Nawaz's group, which includes Nawaz Sharif. Hanif Abbasi is clearly aligned with Shahbaz Sharif. When Hanif Abbasi faced narcotics charges in the ephedrine case, it was Shahbaz Sharif who got General Bajwa to intervene and get him relief. That's why Hanif stands firmly with Shahbaz. In public statements, Hanif often clearly sides with Shahbaz, even if that distances him from Mariam Nawaz. Now here's the issue. Mariam Nawaz, as Chief Minister, visited Rawalpindi recently to inaugurate a project. Hanif Abbasi is a minister from that area. Also present were other ministers like Daniel Aziz, likely, and Mariam Aurangzeb from the Punjab government. Instead of standing with the senior-most minister, Hanif Abbasi, Mariam Nawaz chose Mariam Aurangzeb to stand beside her. Hanif awkwardly had to extend his arm from a corner to appear in the photo, clearly sidelined. This public slight shows just how deep the rift is between uncle and niece. They're not even pretending to tolerate each other anymore. This situation, combined with attacks from both the establishment and internal party infighting, paints a grim picture for the PML-N. The future looks uncertain. How bad it gets, how fast it escalates, and whether the one page truly rips apart, we'll see in the days ahead. Moving forward to the next news, a statement from Miss Alia Hamza has now come forward. She said that according to some information that reached her, she had apparently been very busy for the past 2 days, a kind of busyness that even she herself was unaware of. She asked whether someone could shed light on what plan was announced today for Prime Minister Imran Khan's release. She is clearly distancing herself and criticising the development. She says that when Ali Amin Gandapur came to Lahore, false claims were made. That she had said she was busy and therefore couldn't attend. She seems to be referencing, though not naming, Salman Akram Raja, whose social media post I saw, which attributed this claim to him, that she had been invited but was too busy. Now, without naming names, she is responding and saying that misinformation was spread about her. She claims the reason given for her being busy is something even she didn't know about, meaning she wasn't actually busy. She says she was deliberately portrayed as being busy, and no real plan was presented for Imran Khan's release. She is openly expressing her reservations and speaking out against the whole activity that took place. On the other hand, in a previous vlog, we informed you of Habib Akram and other stories from which it became clear that perhaps the entire episode was just to entertain Mirza Afridi. It might not have had much to do with Imran Khan's release. The next news is even more alarming. It comes from Shiraz Ahmed Shirazi, who reports that 10 PTI members of the Provincial Assembly have agreed to vote for Amir Muqam's son in the Senate elections. A full-on deal has taken place. The PML-N and these 10 PTI MPAs have formed an alliance. According to Shiraz Ahmed Shirazi, these 10 MPAs will vote for Amir Muqam's son. The deal has been struck and money has also been exchanged. This is a developing situation, and in the coming days, We'll have to see how it unfolds. If Senate votes are being bought and sold like this, then there will be nothing left of the system. Everything will fall apart. Despite the conditions in the rest of the country, at least in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, people are known to strongly guard their votes for Imran Khan. But if this kind of thing is happening there, I truly don't understand what's going on, why it's happening, and to what extent they want to cause destruction. Next news. We do all this, and now a tout himself has come on television and openly recognized and accepted it. So you can imagine how shameless things have become. These people no longer even care what the public will think about them. Next news, there was a false claim that PIA, Pakistan International Airlines, had become a profitable institution. Do you know how much publicity was given to that? It was claimed that PIA had become profitable, but in reality PIA's debt of 660 billion rupees was taken off the company's books and shifted into a new or old company. Even after sidelining this 660 billion, PIA, which was being called profitable, has reported a loss of 4.6 billion rupees this year. So the nation has already paid, or will have to pay, the 660 billion. And on top of that, there's this new loss of 4.6 billion. And what were we being told? That PIA had been pulled out of the darkness of corruption and turned into a profitable institution. It was all lies. Now we find out that there's still a loss of 4 to 5 billion being incurred there. Next news, the regulatory duty on cars, which was 90%, has been reduced to 50%. This concerns luxury vehicles like Land Cruisers and SUVs, not small cars. The prices of these high-end vehicles have now been reduced. Shahbaz Rana is reporting that there's a journalist behind this move, someone who already owns such a car but now wants to buy another one. So Shahbaz Rana is saying that the duty reduction was pushed by a journalist who wants to buy another vehicle. It's shocking. You're slaughtering an entire camel just for 1 pound of meat. If you change the entire national policy just so one person could get a car, then God help this country. If this is the direction the country is heading in, then may God have mercy on us. Next news is quite interesting. Ishaq Dar has shared a quote attributed to Hazrat Ali saying, "Remove cobwebs from your homes, they cause poverty." The idea is that spider webs bring poverty and removing them brings prosperity. This is the message Ishaq Dar has shared with the public, telling people to clear cobwebs from their homes to reduce their poverty. This speaks volumes about his mental state. The poor are being crushed, and it's hard to believe that spiders or their webs are to blame. No, the poor are suffering because of the corruption of people like Dar himself, Maryam Nawaz, Nawaz Sharif, Shahbaz Sharif and various field marshals. And now look what they've set the public to do, remove cobwebs, when in reality they themselves are the spiders, spinning these webs and trapping the nation. They keep spinning tales and deceiving the people. In truth, they have no concern with these issues. It's all lies and nonsense. That wraps up our translation of Shahbaz Gill's video. I hope this English version helped you understand his message better. Please like, share and subscribe to Awami Lens to help our community grow. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of this effort.